Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to request you to please turn your attention to the AV screen now. We have a video presentation on SFAL, Semiconductor Fabless Acceleration Lab.
India's startup scene is on the cusp of a huge inflection point, with 4 startups spawning every day and a total of more than 20,000 startups as of today. Fabless silicon design innovation has emerged as the next big opportunity for the technology ecosystem. It could be India's calling card in the future, unleashing the full potential of entrepreneurship and innovation. But it needs to be unshackled of the challenges that it faces today, such as lack of infrastructure, access to tools, IP, test and measurement equipment and platforms, design expertise, mentoring, manufacturing support, market access, and funding. The role of the technology ecosystem, government, and industry is crucial to provide the much needed impetus to fabless silicon startups to flourish. Heralding a new chapter in the semiconductor startup space in the country, Karnataka government and India Electronics and Semiconductor Association (IESA) are collaborating to incubate fabless silicon startups through Semiconductor Fabless Accelerator Lab (SFAL). It is indeed an enriching journey to lead Karnataka and India to be a silicon product innovation hub. For more information, please contact SFAL at iesaonline.org.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome all the dignitaries on the stage. I just want to, before I start this presentation, I would like to tell you one thing that, when my team said that I have to go and make this presentation on SFAL, it is a very difficult task for me because I have never addressed such a large gathering ever in my life. So please bear with me, just in case there are, any, mistakes or slip of tongues. I would like your kindness to bear with me. So, SFAL is this is an initiative by Fabless core initiative group of, IESA. This started 3 years back. And, when we were having our first meeting, we were mulling over that semiconductor being such an important, part of a ESDM ecosystem. What are the things which we need to address to make sure that SFAL, SFAL kind of thing happens? So, first thing we wanted to do is to establish in front of policymakers that, what is the importance of semiconductor in overall ESDM, system. So, if you look at, sorry, I think so, see, the importance of fabless ecosystem in a overall, progress of a ESDM ecosystem. If we have to look at it, see, India is slated to reach to $400 billion. This is an oft-repeated number. Everybody knows we were supposed to reach at 400 billion, 2020, but now it is projected to happen in 2023. This entire $400 billion bill of ESDM import, the discrete ICs, the microchips would constitute 25% of the entire import bill, direct or indirect import, right? See, the direct import is the microchips which we directly import, whereas indirect import is the chip which come along with the finished products. The second part of it is that, it pushes the entire ecosystem up if you add the a microchip ecosystem or a fabless ecosystem in a country. So to give you an example, right? If you think of all the countries which does finished ESDM products, like mobile phones or computers, you would see that there is a presence of system companies and VLSI companies at the same time. And in India, we are trying to do the systems. We have very good system designers here, but I think the fabless is still a whole. So our dream of getting ESDM to a level where it actually contributes significantly to our overall GDP, to around 10%, VLSI has to come up, Fabless ecosystem has to come up. And finally, the strategic importance to the country, right? If we want to do a 10 nanometer chip for a, defense program, I think we'll have to just shun it. We'll have to just give it up because, those technologies are restricted technologies and we don't have access to it, right? So if we have to get this thing, we have to get the self-reliance to the country, in sectors of defense, space, and aviation. We really need to have this thing going. Now, we mulled over it. We said that if this is such an important sector, why there is no policy around it? Why there is no government, initiative to bring up the fabless ecosystem? What we found that actually that is not true. When we looked at the National Policy of Electronics 2012, it came out in 2012. We figured out that National Policy of Electronics actually talks of achieving $50 billion, in upward of $50 billion turnover within India on VLSI by 2020, right? Now, the only problem is we are in 2018, and the reality is that, we are nowhere close, right? I mean, we hardly have 15, 20, we just spoke of the video which we saw, just spoke of 20,000 odd startups today, operating out of India. And for a size of country like India, only having 15, 20, semiconductor startups are really, not something to be proud of. So, we have to, somehow there is a gap, right? That there is a policy in place, and if you look at the national policy, I'm sure many of you would have run through the National Policy of Electronics. You would realize that National Policy of Electronics actually has all the policy framework to, to make a successful fabless industry. But why it is not happening is something, we have to sort of, we have again thought about it. And the only thing which we figured out is that somewhere the implementation part is missing, right? Now, this is a problem. You have policy, but how do we implement it? And, again, I think Karnataka as a state has showed the way. Karnataka has always been the trailblazer and, leadership when it comes to high-tech sector in India. Karnataka ESDM policy, which came out only this November, it spoke of creating COEs, Center of Excellences, in various sectors. And when we went and started engaging with the Karnataka government based on the KESDM policy, mind you, it just came out in November. And we started engaging with Karnataka government in November, and by this budget, 16th of February, SFAL was announced by the Chief Minister during his budget speech. So with this, I would really like all of you to, put your hands together and appreciate this gesture by Karnataka government to, So, I think the video is already being played. So, just some key points of SFAL. SFAL, there has been certain VLSI incubators in India before, but the scale at which SFAL is going to operate is unprecedented. The total budget in next 5 years is slated to be 56 crores. And this is the largest initiative ever taken by any state government in India. The second part of it is that we do not intend to be only fabless hub. We do not intend to be only fabless incubator. We want to create a fabless hub in country, wherein the technology and business ecosystem in under one roof, in one place, right? The third part of it is that when you talk of incubators only support early stage startups, whereas what we are saying that SFAL is also going to have SME focus, because there are growth phase companies which are really looking for help around to make sure that they reach to the next stage, and SFAL intends to provide that support to these SMEs. SFAL model is this is a quick peek at SFAL model. If you look at it, there are two main sections in it. One is incubate section and other is accelerate section. Incubate section is about, helping early stage startups where, they can have subscription based, tool access. This is a huge entry barrier for, any early stage startup. So we are going to take care of the tool and the shuttle problem for the early stage startup, whereas for the growth phase startup, we are going to facilitate, we are already working with, Camco, Karnataka Asset Management Company, to come up with a venture fund for semiconductor companies. So essentially, we are also going to engage with private venture funds to make sure that, they have this, access to the fund. So, with this, I would like to thank the, Karnataka ITBT department, KBITS, all IESA Fabless CIG members who have worked tirelessly on it for last 3 years, and of course, all the IESA member companies who are also going to play a big part in making sure that SFAL is successful. Thank you very much.